Hey everyone, it's Kelly. Thanks for joining me. I am back with a new 12 by 12 scrapbook layout and process video. For my video today, it is part of the Blog Hops with Heart blog hop group, and this month we are featuring a Halloween theme. So I'm just showing you some of the products that I'm going to be using. I cut the title out using the open letter alpha cut file from the cut shop. I'm going to be using a pattern paper from a retired Close to My Heart collection for my background. That is from the Jeepers Creepers collection. And then I'm going to be backing the cut file with numerous pattern papers from the Pretty Little Studio Goosebumps collection that is designed by Ashley Horton. Now, I'm not one to like to waste product, so instead of diving directly into those 8x8 pattern papers, I am going to use part of the packaging as patterns to back this cut file. So that was what I was doing with that letter H. I'm actually adhered it to a portion of the packaging. It's a little preview of what's included in the paper packet, and I'm going to do that for numerous letters. I do use the pattern papers also, but if I could fit a letter onto the packaging easily, I would use the packaging to back that letter. Now, if you're interested in this cut file, I do have a Cricut Design Space tutorial for this cut file. It was recorded in Cricut Design Space 2.0, but the process is going to be the same on how you use the cut file. The icons are just going to be in a little bit different spot in Design Space 3.0. So if you're interested in checking out that tutorial, I will make sure to link to it in the description box below. Now, I'm not going to make you watch me back this entire cut file because it does take some time, but the effort is always worth it. I'm always amazed at the results, and I am going to go ahead and jump forward in just a moment and have the entire cut file finished. Okay, so here you can see that it is all finished, and I'm just showing you the different tools that I used to fussy cut this out. I did use a pair of fine tip scissors, I used a craft knife, and I also used my Versamat, which is a Close to My Heart product. It is a self-healing mat, so you can use a craft knife on it and it does not hurt it at all. I was showing you that in some areas it was difficult to cut close enough to the cut file without tearing into the cut file because it is a very intricate cut. So what I am doing is I just grabbed a sponge dauber and black ink, and I am just going around the edges and filling that in. So you can't even tell that there was a little bit of white showing. The black cardstock that I used was white core, so when I was cutting it, if any of it tore a little bit or if any of the edges weren't very smooth, you could see a little bit of that white core coming through that black cardstock. But using that ink just fixed that right up, and you'll never even know that there was a little bit of distressed edge around the cut file image. So there I was showing you the two photos that I'm going to be using, and those are photos that were taken 2 different years. One was taken in 2014 and one was taken in 2015. And my title is Halloween Parade, which you can see. And what was happening in these photos is the primary school that my son attended, every year they would put on a Halloween parade for the parents. So we would come to the school and we would all line the halls, and all of the kids in kindergarten and first grade would walk up and down the halls in their costumes, and we could see how everyone was dressed for Halloween. And it was so much fun, and I really enjoyed it. These photos are a little blurry because they were taken in motion. He was walking down the hallway when I snapped them. So I did convert them to black and white to kind of mask that they are not the best quality photo. But I really wanted to document this story because my son is no longer in the primary school. The way his school system is set up, kindergarten and first grade are in the primary school, and then second, third, and fourth are in the elementary school. And when he moved to elementary school, they stopped doing this event for the parents. So it is not something that he does anymore. And it's one of those things that you don't realize how special it is until it's not happening anymore. So I really wanted to make sure that I documented this story, even though the photos are not of the best quality. And I originally had a different design in mind when I was thinking about this layout, but when I went to my photos, I noticed there was a lot of empty space on both of the photos, and I thought it would work well having a large title because I could overlap the title onto that empty space on the photo, and it would help fill in that area but not cover up anything important. So I'm happy with how this design turns out. So while I was talking, you could see that I have the overall design mapped out for this layout. So I do want to add some color to the background. So I grabbed a pencil and just made little marks where the title is going to be positioned on the background. And now I've added a layer of clear gesso. I do want to add some orange to the background, and I have a couple different orange gelatos in my stash. So I was just testing them out on a scrap piece of paper to make sure that I found a color that matched the pattern papers that I'm using. And I just scribbled a little bit onto the packaging, sprayed some water onto the packaging, smushed it around, and now I'm just smushing that packaging directly onto the background. Now, one thing that I noticed when I was applying this color is I wasn't getting as much saturation as I would have liked. I really wanted the color to be pretty bold. So I apply it a few different times, but I'm, like I said, not overly happy. So I go back into my stash and I find this acrylic paint from Illustrated Faith, and I put some on the packaging, but it's a little too yellow. So I grabbed a darker orange gelato that I had in my stash, and I'm just mixing the acrylic paint with the gelato to create the orange color that I'm looking for. Now I did have to add some water to the packaging to thin out that color enough that I could use the packaging technique to apply the color to the background. And as you can see, there is a lot of color on that piece of packaging. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that piece of packaging and I'm going to smush it onto another piece of packaging and then apply it to the background. This gave me more control over how much color I was applying in certain areas. I was worried that if I took that first piece of packaging and just applied it directly to the layout, that I would have some really heavily saturated areas of color, and I wanted to make sure that that color was really spread around the background. So I'm happy with the color coverage that I have going on the background. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the photos. I did not want to add a lot of layers behind the photos because there's already so much going on the layout with that large title. So I just grabbed some tissue paper and I'm going to add a layer behind each photo just to give a little bit of separation from the photo and the background. And that tissue paper trick is actually something that I picked up from Missy Wooden. She does that on quite a few of her layouts, and I think it's the perfect addition to a layout. It gives the separation that you want, and it also adds just a little bit of texture behind the photos also. Okay, so I've already adhered down the photos and the title, and now I'm just working on adhering down the embellishments. Those little candy chipboard pieces, those are from a really, really old Little Yellow Bicycle collection. I believe it was called Booville. That spider sticker is from the same Pretty Little Studio Goosebumps collection designed by Ashley Horton. I did tuck a Bella Boulevard clip underneath the photo on the right-hand side, and now I'm going to start working on a cluster above the title. The word spooky is from the Crepe Paper After Dark collection. That spider web is from the Goosebumps collection from Pretty Little Studio. I will also add in a 3D bat sticker from my stash, and then that cloud is another one of those Bella Boulevard clips, and I just trimmed off the clip portion earlier on in the video, and I'm just going to add that as a little die cut or ephemera piece. Now I've jumped forward a little bit and I do have that whole cluster at the top adhered down to the layout. Now I'm going back through my stash again, just looking for some little odds and ends to add to the background. And I came across these enamel stars, and these are from an older Close to My Heart collection also, but I'm not sure of the name of the collection. But I'm just going to scatter a few of those around the layout just to fill in little areas. Now I wanted to add the date to the photos since they are taken on 2 different years. So I just grabbed a date stamp in my Stays On and I just stamped directly onto the photo. I did add my journaling off camera. I used my We Are Memory Keepers typecast typewriter, typed it onto a piece of scrap white cardstock, and then just trimmed it into strips and adhered it underneath the title. I did also add some black machine stitching underneath the journaling and then also right underneath that word spooky. I'm going to bring the layout closer to the camera so you can check it out in detail. I did add some black Heidi Swapp color shine splatters to the background. And all in all, I'm really happy with how this layout turned out. Halloween is by far my favorite holiday to scrapbook, so I'm so excited that the season has come back around. I really do want to encourage you to head to my blog to hop along with us on our Halloween blog hop. I will include a link in the description box below. I did go through the hop yesterday, and there are a lot of really fun projects, so I think that you would really enjoy seeing everyone's projects and everyone's take on this theme. I do want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will be back again soon with a new layout and new process video.